Guilty Pour Homme. 3 words that have been dividing fragrance lovers for over a decade. Some people call it a masterpiece of modern masculinity. Others dismiss it as a designer crowd pleaser with no soul. And then there's the eau de parfum version. The one that took everything about the original and turned the dial up. Way up. Today I'm putting it under the microscope. No hype, no fluff, just an honest conversation about whether this bottle deserves a place on your shelf. And I'll tell you right now, the answer might actually surprise you. Gucci. The name alone carries weight. We're talking about a house that has been at the intersection of fashion and fragrance since the 1970s. And they've had some absolute legends come out of that creative process. But here's the thing about Gucci fragrances that I think people often overlook. They are unapologetically commercial, and they wear that badge with confidence. This isn't a niche house trying to be mysterious. Gucci knows exactly who they're selling to, and they craft accordingly. Gucci Guilty originally launched in 2010, and it was a statement fragrance. Bold, unapologetic, a little bit provocative. The whole campaign was soaked in this idea of rebellion within sophistication, the guilty pleasure of wearing something that turns heads. The eau de parfum version, which is what we're looking at today, came as Gucci's answer to the demand for more depth, more longevity, more substance. They took the spirit of the original and concentrated it, made it richer, more serious. And whether you're a long-time fan or coming to this completely fresh, that context matters. Let's talk about the bottle because, honestly, this is where Gucci delivers without question. The 90 ml flacon is a proper piece of design. It's weighty in your hand, that satisfying kind of heavy that makes you feel like you've spent your money on something real. The glass is dark, almost smoky, giving it this sense of depth and intrigue. There's a bold diagonal slash of the Gucci Guilty branding across the front, and that angular design language gives it an edge that most designer houses simply don't bother with. The cap is magnetic. It clicks shut with a precision that feels luxurious rather than fiddly. The spray mechanism is firm and controlled, giving you a fine, even mist, rather than that clumsy, splattered effect you sometimes get with cheaper builds. Unbox this, and you'll find it nestled in a matte black box with gold detailing. Understated. Confident. This is a fragrance that knows it doesn't need to shout to make an impression, and the packaging reflects that entirely. If you're gifting this, it presents beautifully. Full stop. Right. Let's get into the juice. The moment that spray hits your skin, Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum announces itself with real authority. There's an immediate burst of citrus, a bright, slightly bitter lemon that doesn't hang around trying to be friendly. It's sharp, it's precise, and it cuts through the air with a projection that says, "I'm here. Pay attention." But underneath that citrus burst, almost immediately, you get this spicy warmth that starts to rise up. It's not aggressive, but it's present. It's like the scent is already hinting at what it's going to become. That opening is confident without being overbearing. It projects well. You're definitely going to announce yourself walking into a room in those first 15 minutes. The sillage, out of the gate, is impressive for a designer fragrance at this price point. This isn't a skin scent that whispers. It speaks clearly. And that first impression is genuinely arresting. I wore this on a cold autumn evening recently, and that citrus spice opening was absolutely perfect for the air. There's something about a chill in the atmosphere that makes this kind of opening bloom in a way it simply doesn't in summer heat. As the citrus fades, and it does fade relatively quickly within 20 to 30 minutes, the heart of Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum starts to reveal itself, and this is where things get genuinely interesting. The warmth intensifies. There's a peppery spice here that builds steadily, and it has this quality of smelling like skin rather than just smelling like perfume. That's a rare and valuable thing. There's also a subtle woody quality that starts to emerge in the heart, and combined with that spice, it creates this sense of a very grounded, very masculine warmth. This is not a fresh aquatic. This is not a sweet gourmand. This is something altogether more self-assured. What surprised me when I first spent real time with this fragrance was how seamlessly the transition happens. There's no awkward middle phase where you're waiting for it to find its feet. The heart just arrives naturally, like the scent always knew where it was going. It feels intentional, crafted. I'd describe the heart phase as sophisticated sensuality. There's something in here that reads as intimate. The kind of fragrance that works brilliantly in close quarters, whether that's a dinner across a candlelit table or a late evening conversation. It pulls people in rather than projecting outward at full volume, and that shift from the bold opening to this more intimate heart is honestly one of the more elegant transitions I've experienced in mainstream designer perfumery. Give this 4 to 5 hours on skin, and you arrive at the dry down, and this is where Guilty Eau de Parfum earns its keep. The base is warm, woody, and deeply resinous. There's a patchouli presence here that gives it real darkness without tipping into that muddy, heavy territory that patchouli can sometimes drag a fragrance into. It's refined patchouli, considered. And it sits alongside what smells like amber and cedar to create a base that is genuinely luxurious. The dry down on this is the kind of fragrance that, if someone leans in close and says, "What are you wearing?" This is the moment they're reacting to. It's intimate and warm, and it has this lingering quality that feels like it has become part of your skin rather than something sitting on top of it. Some fragrances dry down to almost nothing. This dries down to its most compelling chapter, and that, in fragrance terms, is exactly what you want. Honest talk on performance. On skin, you're looking at 7 to 9 hours of real presence, and that's a genuine number based on multiple wears across different skin types and weather conditions. The Eau de Parfum concentration absolutely delivers here. This is a meaningful step up from the original Eau de Toilette in terms of lasting power. On clothing, and particularly on knits or heavier fabrics, this can push well beyond 12 hours. I've had shirts that carried this well into the next day. Sillage starts strong, room-filling in those early stages, and then settles into a more moderate trail after the first couple of hours. By the dry-down phase, it becomes what I'd call a personal bubble fragrance. People close to you will catch it. You'll be aware of it. But you're not going to clear a lift. That arc, from bold opening to intimate dry down, is actually one of this fragrance's strengths. It's versatile across the day in that sense. Starts with authority, finishes with elegance. This is where I'll be specific, because I think a lot of reviews are vague here. Guilty Eau de Parfum is, in my opinion, an autumn and winter fragrance. That warmth, that resinous base, that spicy heart, it needs cooler air to perform at its best. In summer heat, it can become overwhelming, and some of the nuance gets lost. So if you live somewhere hot year-round, this might not be your everyday option. In terms of occasion, this is unquestionably an evening and date night fragrance. I wouldn't call it an office scent. It's too bold, too intimate for a 9-to-5 environment. But for dinner, drinks, a night out, a romantic occasion, this is absolutely in its element. It's a fragrance that communicates confidence and sensuality without trying too hard. Age-wise, I'd say this skews toward late 20s and upward. It's a mature fragrance, not in a stuffy way, but in the sense that it has genuine sophistication and depth. The teenager reaching for something from the Guilty lineup would be better served by the original EDT. But the man who's grown into himself, who knows what he wants and how he wants to smell, the Eau de Parfum is calling his name. £99 for 90 ml, works out to roughly 110 per milliliter. In the context of designer fragrances at the higher end of the mainstream market, that is fair. Not exceptional value, fair. You're paying for the Gucci name, the quality of the bottle and packaging, and a juice that genuinely delivers on performance and complexity. Could you find something cheaper that scratches a similar itch? Probably. There are some compelling alternatives in the cheaper designer and high street space, but there's something about the coherence and craftsmanship of this specific fragrance that makes the price feel justified. I'm giving Gucci Guilty Pour Homme EDP a solid 8 out of 10. It loses a point for its seasonal limitation. This simply isn't a year-round proposition, and another for the fact that at £99, it sits in a space where some niche houses are doing extraordinarily interesting things for similar money. But as a designer fragrance with genuine longevity, real sophistication, and that unmistakable Gucci confidence, it's absolutely worth your consideration. You can pick up the 90 ml at P11, the link is in the description, and I've found their pricing and stock reliable, so that's where I'd point you if you're ready to pull the trigger, or even if you just want to do a bit more research before committing. Gucci Guilty Pour Homme EDP is not a fragrance for everyone. It's bold, it's warm, it's unapologetically masculine in a very specific and assured way. But if you're looking for a designer option that punches above its weight in terms of longevity, that has a genuinely compelling arc from opening to dry down, and that communicates something about the person wearing it, that's a man who makes choices deliberately, then this deserves a serious look. I came into this review ready to be somewhat dismissive. It's easy to overlook a fragrance that's been on shelves for years and worn by so many people that it starts to feel ubiquitous. But spending proper time with the eau de parfum reminded me that there's a reason it has endured. It's good, really good. And sometimes the crowd gets it right. Now I want to hear from you. Do you own Gucci Guilty Pour Homme Eau de Parfum? Have you been wearing it for years, or is this the first you're hearing of it? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely read every single one. And if you've got a fragrance you think I should review next, put it down there too. Until next time, wear something worth talking about.